The couple awoke naked, man and woman, bound in cruciform pose to standing tables that hung from chains attached to the ceiling above, facing each other. First the woman. She was dazed and bleary-eyed at first, not fully taking in what was happening, or where she was for a few moments. And then her shrill caterwauls brought her husband out from his own Stygian slumber. She cried his name over and over again. He awoke, and then just kept screaming. "What the fuck is going on? Get us out of here! Help us, please!" Both of them were sobbing. Both of them were pleading with the other for help, to please explain what the fuck was going on. Neither were able to do anything for the other, except hang there and look with swollen, watering, helpless gazes. It was hours later when he strolled in. They had both noticed a single door in the corner of the warehouse shack that they were bound in. They had both grown tired and had given up their cries about an hour before. But the moment he strode in, their hoarse, desperate shouts of panic and pleading were renewed. When the man stepped into the dim and dismal light sparsely provided by a small lamp dangling from above, much like them, they stopped suddenly, like a keen blade through taut cord. The man, the newcomer, was, like them, completely naked, and he was smiling, pleased to see them there. He didn't say a word, and neither did they. They didn't dare. The three of them just hung there, suspended in time, frozen. The couple, their faces aghast and horror-stricken, filled with cold terror. The newcomer smiling, beaming in fact. The woman finally found the strength to say something, though it was small and desperate. "Please." The newcomer answered not with a word, but with a widening of his grin. And then he strode over to her husband. Without any further restraint or hesitation, he began to lick her man, all over head to toe, tonguing every single inch of his person. She watched in horror and disbelief. She felt dizzy and sick. Her beloved roared with outrage at first, promising horrible maiming and mutilation and death and worse. But then it eventually degraded into sobs and wailing pleas that went unanswered save for more licking and tonguing of every single part of his naked, glistening frame. Over and over until he was thoroughly soaked with the man's saliva. When he was finished, her husband was crying as silently as he could manage. His eyes were shut. He was trying to pretend he wasn't there, and that this wasn't happening. It wasn't until the newcomer suddenly finished and strode away just as rapidly as when he had begun did he finally open his eyes and see the man leave him finally. His wife hadn't wanted to watch, but she hadn't been able to look away. It was too surreal. And she didn't even fully believe that this could really be happening. It was some sick dream, and she'd wake up soon. Her and her husband would be together and safe and in bed at home. This wasn't real. This wasn't... Her safe run of thoughts were cut off when the licking man, who'd been chugging a large bottle of water in the corner of the room, now began bounding towards her. She began to scream again. Her husband roared as the man ran his tongue all over every part of her naked, crucified body. Again, as it went on and on, his roaring degraded to sobbing and desperate pleading. And then finally he gave in and looked away. He puked at one point, but that was all the sound he made after. The licking man kept at his work. Her own screaming giving way to little occasional yelps as she shuddered wide-eyed and not wanting to comprehend, yet knowing all too well that this was all too real. When the licking man had finished, he stood and wiped his mouth. He gave her a satisfied look. She only said one thing further, still wide-eyed and petrified with pure revulsion and terror. "Why?" And once again it was small and desperate and pitiful. But this time, he spoke an answer. "'Cause I'm a skin freak." And then, just as quickly as he came and did his deed, he turned about heel and went out the single door. The couple said nothing, not to him as he departed, and not to each other for the rest of the night. He kept them for a while, like the others before them. He always liked couples, especially this couple. He liked them so much, in fact, he kept them well into their elder years, loving their skin. He kept them until they finally wore out and gave in. The man first, and then the woman. Hell, he was getting on in years himself when he finally put their old, shriveled bodies into the earth. It was a shame. He'd had them for so long, and like good horses, they got broken fast. They had been so much fun. The memories that he shared with the couple were immeasurably precious to him. He would take them everywhere, every single place from here on after he would hold them, precious within his skull. Forever he would keep them. Forever. He heaved a sigh of regret as he began to shovel the dirt on his favorite captive's naked, salted corpses. This part always hurt. The goodbyes. Always it hurt.